Welcome. My name is Given Illustrative, and you're tuned into Millennial Pillars right here on the I Am Youth Movement YouTube channel. Now, today I wanted to have a bit of a frank conversation with you, right? I wanted to talk about the idea of imagination. Now, we have not moved away from the conversation of knowing when you're in a long-term or lifetime commitment and when you're in a short-term commitment. Now, when you're in a long-term or lifelong commitment, and this is what we call the infinite game. When you're playing the infinite game, it's important for you to understand the power of your imagination. And a lot of people take this for granted. Now, I was having a conversation with my fiance, and she was telling me about a particular event that both her and I have been looking forward to for many years, right? And it hasn't happened because we've faced so many obstacles along the way. And she was telling me that she finds it difficult to picture it and envision it and see the event actually happening. Now, I want to talk to you about the danger of that, right? Take a moment and think about the one thing you've always wanted to accomplish in life, and how the obstacles that have stood in your way, that have made it difficult for you to reach that place, or for you to begin playing that role, whether it's in career-wise, or whether it's you wanting to raise a family, whether it's family oriented, whether you've wanted to be someone's wife or someone's husband, or whether you've just wanted to accomplish something in a call that God has called you towards doing, right? I want you to picture it and think about all the obstacles that have stood in your way and how they have impacted you. Because sometimes these obstacles impact us so much that we begin to become dismayed, we begin to become wary, and as a result, we find it very difficult to imagine it because it's emotionally taxing. Because whenever you use your imagination, you emotionally invest yourself within that vision, right? And more particular within that whatever it is that you're imagining. Now, you might be asking yourself, is imagination the same as vision? No, it's not. The vision is the grand picture. It's the bigger picture. Imagination is when you begin to role play in your mind. That's when you begin to actually see yourself in that particular role or in that picture, and it comes to life. And it's very, very important for us to not lose the power of imagination, regardless of how many times you failed at accomplishing and achieving something, especially when it's a long-term vision that you're working towards. It's important for you to role play in your mind. And how do you do this in a practical manner? You need to begin to see yourself, if your aim or your heart's desire is to become someone's spouse, you need to see yourself become a good spouse to them. You need to always sit down and make the time to imagine the things that you would do for them. Imagine yourself lighting candles for them so that when they come back home, they find the apartment or the house in a good atmosphere. You need to imagine yourself having a bad day, but coming home and putting on a smile on your face because you want them to have a good experience of you. And if it's a job, then you need to imagine yourself doing that job and kicking butt at that job and making sure that you're a diligent worker. But you need to see yourself doing it, because then you begin to become excited about it and you begin to sort of like draw the blueprint of it, right? And you give your body something to work and look forward to. And that's a very important thing. You need to understand that you should not abandon your power of imagination. It is a gift that God has given us, and God has given it to us so that we can begin to paint and draw out the details of the vision that we have for the future, right? So to make it even simpler, like simpler, if you would like to own a pet one day, right? You want to have a dog or a cat or whatever it may be, and you're really excited to having this pet, but you've been having a difficult time adopting a pet, right? Because of whatever it may be. You're just not getting the approval, or you're not getting the funds. What I'm telling you is I'm encouraging you to not stop imagining yourself being a good master to the pet, feeding it, petting it, taking it out for walks. You need to picture those days when you're doing those things, and you need to start getting excited about it. because that's what's going to get you up in the morning and going out and continuing to frustrate yourself and working towards that vision, working towards that goal. It is a very, very important thing, the power of the imagination. And if you've reached your 30s or your 40s, we have a bad habit of assuming that the imagination is something that is for children. This is something that we're going to talk about next week. The fact that just because you're old or you've reached your 20s or your late 20s, you should not disregard the power that is in the imagination. With that said, my name is Given Illustrative. I've really enjoyed hanging out with you. If you have anything to say to me or comment on this conversation that we're having, then definitely hit me up on the comment section. Like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so that you get every video that we post, especially if you're enjoying them. And please do not be greedy with the share button. Hit it as many times as possible. I'll catch you next week. Peace.